Hello, this is Richard here, and I just want to make a quick video. I know a lot of medical school students are constantly feeling that they are just drowning is the most common word that I hear and associate with it because there's just so much material they don't even know what the heck to do, and they go into this panic state, and it's almost like their heart's in ventricular fibrillation, and they're just not pushing any blood forward, and they're just not being productive. So if you're in that state, calm down. It's the first thing. Get some sleep, eat some food, then come back and watch this video. Maybe this will help you. First thing that I do is I go through and I organize all the stuff that needs to be done. Here is every single lecture shown here on the left for this test. Every single one that's going to be tested on. It's right there. Okay. Then up here I have the date at the top. See, I included the things that I want to get done in the day, but you don't need to do that. Up here's the date. This is when the exam is, right there. Okay. Now I have put little solid boxes over each square of when the particular lecture is due. See that? So I know when they're going to be presenting that lecture, so I ought to get it sometime that day, hopefully. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Like, for example, right here. That was due there. Well, I guess I got that one done. This one here. That was due that day, but I didn't get it done until the next day. But that's okay. I'm still close enough. Okay. I created a little chart that shows me how much time I'm spending on each lecture. I've completely neglected lecture 12. What is lecture 12? STEMI and complications. Yeah, totally neglected that. That's like half an hour. Even worse on lecture 18, intro to valvular heart disease. Looks like I only spent like 15 minutes on that lecture. So I need to study those lectures. Spent way too much time on lecture 40, 13 here, which is session 40. I mean, not necessarily too much time, but a lot of time. I need to look over 6, 7, and 8 some more. See how I can get a gauge of where I'm spending my time? This is also useful putting on this format over here because, oh my gosh, it's been, let's see, today's the 1st. I have not looked at anything in pathology for 1, 2, 3, 4. Today will be the 5th day. That is way too long. Anyway, you can see now from doing this that I can keep track of my lectures, how much time I'm spending on my lectures, and when I last reviewed my lectures. So here's what you need to do. Create this chart or a chart like it, something that you can keep track of how much time you're spending on your lectures and whatnot. And then what you need to do is this is your goal, okay? You open up the lecture, whatever one, if you haven't even got to the first one, you open up the first one. And after you've opened it up, your goal is to organize the information in a condensed form, okay? Now, you don't necessarily need to get all the information. There might be too much in there for you to get. So maybe if there is too much, focus on the things that you don't know. And if you don't know everything, then just focus on the things that you think might be most important. And if you don't know what the things are most important, then try and ask a second year or the teacher what things in particular you can focus on to kind of narrow it down. Sometimes the professor will have objectives. You can focus on the objectives. Sometimes professors will say, oh, well, if you just memorize the stuff in the tables, that's 80% of the information that we tested on, so you can just focus on the tables. However you need to do it. Once you've narrowed down the information that you need to have to learn for that lecture, or you at least condensed it into something, those are your notes, okay? Now, if you absolutely cannot memorize those notes, you can use some memorization heuristics, but this is your goal, okay? You created the notes, however long it took you, a lot time, by the way. Go to a calendar. This is what I do. I go over here, and here's my calendar. And I will allot myself a certain amount of time. Let's go back to previous week. Here we go. So I have this much time to work on that lecture. And then I need to move on. However far I get, that's as much time as I have because I've gone through my week and I've allotted my time. I know exactly how much time I can spend on each lecture. And when that time is up for that lecture, I have to move on because I've got other things I've got to get to. Now, if later on I find I have some more time, then I'll put some more time in there. But I can't be spending 10 hours on one lecture when I've got 10 lectures to do, an hour per lecture. I need to at least have gone through it once, okay? So that's the main thing. So let me start over again. Create the chart. Well, first of all, sleep, eat some food, calm down, maybe go for a jog, whatever needs to get yourself calmed down. Come back, create something so you can keep track of all the stuff that you need to do, and you know about how much time you've taken on each thing. Now, after you've done that, so you've got your things, all the things you need to do, go to the first lecture on the list, and I guess I should probably amend myself and say, now go through your calendar and allot how much time you have for each lecture. So maybe by the time you've done it all, you realize, wow, I only have an hour per lecture to be able to study all this. There's no way I can get this all done. Well, that's okay. At least now you know. Okay. So now follow your schedule as best you can. Give yourself, you got an hour for this lecture, then you're going to say, okay, that means I need to do is write down as much important information as I possibly can in this next hour. And so do it. Write as much as you can in an hour. Now here's the next key thing here, though. Before 24 hours have passed, you must at least look at the piece of paper that you have written all this information down on. The reason why I bring this out is because there's been studies that have shown that if you do not review your notes or the lecture you studied, you will forget almost all of it. But if you just look at it, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just glancing at it, the retention is much, much higher. So it just reminds your brain that you looked at it, and so your brain doesn't cut it out. Okay, just remind your brain that you looked at those notes, or that you once knew this information, and your brain will say, oh, that must be important because he looks at it again. Do not do what I did here with pathology. Okay, the only reason why I did this is because I've actually studied this stuff over the summer, and so I'm already familiar with it. So I've already read it lots of times, and this was just a review for me anyways. So, but don't do what I did here with pathology. At least look at it. So in the next spot here, I'd put 0.15, maybe I only spent 2 minutes, or maybe it's just 0.01, maybe I just glanced at it. But then you at least have an idea of how much time you're spending with it. So that'll get you started. And no, you will not learn everything. That's one of the things that's frustrating at medical school is because you can't possibly memorize, unless I guess some people can, but I can't possibly memorize everything that they give us. And you're just going to have to let go of that. Okay, that was undergrad. You can't learn everything now. You just get out as much as you can, and you try to review it the next day. And then sometime within the next 3 days, and then after that sometime within the next week, and then every week if you can until the test. Okay, so follow that schedule, and you should be okay. Good luck.